Welcome into SBR Madness. He's Maxwell Smart. I am Drew Martin. We're talking college basketball, NIT Final Four. We got CIT as well, and the real Final Four. We're getting all everyone's opinions. Max's chat box, myself. We're breaking it all down on today's show, Tuesday, April 2nd. Maxwell Smart 420 on Twitter. Welcome in. How you feeling today, man?
I'm a little sad, to be honest with you, Drew. It's been really entertaining basketball. It's been really good for my wallet and the bottom line. But the fact is, we're coming down to one of our last major days of basketball for college basketball, and then it's just the millionaires playing. So I'm a little sad, but you know what? It's been a very successful season. It's been great working with you all month. I can't express that more than I can with these words, but it's been an absolute honor and treasure working with you this whole month, Drew. And I look forward to hopefully working with you in the future. So, yeah, it's bittersweet, but you know what? We still got games. We still got bookies to serve cock soup to. And of course, there are always local strippers that need our support through our purchasing of chicken tenders from the local Popeyes. So I'm ready to get down to it. I got plays on all these games today, and I'm excited to watch these NIT semifinals and the CIT semifinals.
Yeah, me too. And it's been a pleasure working with you, Max. A lot of fun, good stuff. Everyone in the chat boxes too, as well, as far as just a good overall time being part of the crew. Tonight's games, we got the CIT semis, the NIT semifinals. I like to call them the final four of the NIT and the CIT. Am I incorrect in doing that, Max?
No, I think that you're in a good position doing it. It is the second and third ranked postseason tournament, so having a Final Four for them is bittersweet and well fitting.
All right. Well, I'll put out a tweet here, get some more people in the chat box. But we got Max, Pierre, Sebastian, Daryl Lyles. What's up, guys? Welcome in. And I think YouTube's working correctly now. It was bad for a little bit, but now it is, the show is popping up on YouTube, so more people trickling in. But let's start with tonight's card, man. We got on ESPN 7:09, 7:10, 7 p.m. Eastern tip, and Wichita State versus Lipscomb. ESPN game. Looks like 1 is the spread, +1 Wichita State, -1 for Lipscomb. Pick 'em at some shops. So it's a really competitively priced game. Pretty much pick the winner. You're likely going to win. Total of 150.5. Lipscomb's going to look to push it. Wichita State, the Shockers, more of a defensive-minded team. It's almost like a correlated side in total here. If you like Lipscomb, you might like the over. If you like Wichita State, probably leaning towards the under. How are you viewing this tonight on ESPN, Max?
Yeah, well, definitely a lot of people want this Wichita State to go in and end this run that Lipscomb's on, but I just do not think it's going to happen. I've bet Lipscomb. I got them this afternoon at about 1 o'clock Eastern when they were a +1, and I'm very secure with this pick. I think Lipscomb offensively is not going to be challenged in the ways that Wichita State predominantly has been throughout the season and through spurts of their postseason games. This is definitely a game I'm looking to get on the under, but I'm saying that Lipscomb can play defense. We've seen Lipscomb play defense. The numbers support it. This is a team that is 14-4 straight up on the road. This is a team that knows how to win on the road. This is a team that is definitely going to be maybe a little shell shocked for the first couple of minutes by the fact that they're playing in the mecca of basketball. But when you are allowing teams to shoot 40% from the field on the road, 31% from three, you hit over 72% of your free throws, you're getting there more than 20 times a game. That is something that is solid fundamental stuff that I can identify with and I've seen with my own eyes. So as much as I've liked this Wichita State team, I think Greg Marshall really has this team confident in themselves and humming. This is a type of defense in Lipscomb that is going to be ball hawking. They are going to be aggressive on the ball handlers. They are going to force turnovers, and they share the ball very well, and they score in transition with a lot of precision. I think that Lipscomb is going to surprise another team, and I think that Lipscomb tonight is the spot for me. When you got Garrison Matthews and Rob Marbury down low with Eli Pepper and a variety of other different types of complementary pieces, can't forget my main man Kenny Cooper. If you need a win at the end of the game, Kenny will hit you a 2, he'll hit you a 3, and I think he's going to do that tonight on the biggest stage. Let's go Lipscomb. Let's go under full game. I think Lipscomb flexes their offense and shows what kind of defense that they bring.
All right, so liking Lipscomb as the side, I do too. I really do think that they're the more talented team. Wichita State coming from the AAC, good conference, played well all year long, and they have been hot. But really, at this time of year, every team's hot still playing. There's not that many teams still playing college basketball. They're 14-3 their last 17 games, 9-1 their last 10. Only loss being to Cincinnati, knocking them out of the AAC tournament. But on the other side, Lipscomb offensive efficiency numbers are really, really impressive. 76% from the free throw line, 54% two-pointers, 38% as a team from beyond the arc, 17th in terms of offensive tempo, according to Ken Palm. Garrison Matthews, over 40 points last game, over 40% from 3 year to date. So they dominated the A-Sun outside of Liberty, who had their number for whatever reason it was, got the ticket punch to the NCAA. Lipscomb really ran through the A-Sun. I like them to win here, and I think it's a buy low opportunity on Lipscomb. So I'm with you, Max. I think Lipscomb is the side. We do have underdogs saying Lipscomb, right? Or is it Lipscomb, or is it Lipscomb? Are you positive on the pronouncing?
As we've seen from many shows, asking me how I pronunciate things is probably a bad path to go, because if I'm not pronunciating right, I'll just come up with a new one for it and I'll just say it how I want. So I'm gonna go a Lipscomb, but it obviously could be Lipscomb. There could be a variety. I'm Canadian, so I get a pass on this.
Yeah, they're the Bison, and in case you were wondering, they're in Nashville, Tennessee, 28-7. Casey Alexander's the head coach in the Atlantic Sun. I don't see an I in between the S and the C, so I really don't think it's Lipscomb, but it might be Lipscomb. I really don't know either. I'm not the best at pronunciation. Maybe somebody in the chat box with very good vocabulary skills can help us out. But Jewish Sex Learners in here. What's up, guys? Drew and Max. J93 liking the vocabulary talk here. Bison sounds better. Let's just call them the Bisons. That's a good point, Marshall. So we'll go with the Bisons from Lipscomb. Ricardo Gutierrez, smash that like button, all capitals. Thank you, Ricardo. Thank you very much. Underdog, liking Max. Also Melvin in the house. Melvin Betances, like that last name. What's good, fellas? Steve in the house. What's up, man? Max and Drew, get it, boys. Michigan State won my work pool. Easy money. Already cashed his work pool. My cousin also cashed his work pool and took a lot of the advice. Texas Tech and Michigan State. How is your pool, Max?
I didn't really. I wasn't in a pool or anything. I
Did
don't
you do a bracket?
really enjoy. I didn't even do a bracket. I ended up just being like, fuck it, I'll give you my Final Four and I'll give you my national championship winner, and that's pretty easy. It's just Virginia, you know. I haven't had to rethink it or reanalyze it. I don't really enjoy doing brackets. There's too many peas in the pot. I'm just about game to game, money to money. I just want that money from the bookie one way. I'm not trying to beat other people. I don't like competitions involving sports betting versus other people. My enemy is the bookie. It's like I'm Starfleet. I mean, it's like the bookie is Starfleet and I'm a Klingon and I want to just kill that Starfleet son of a bitch. So I'm not trying to make friends and I'm not trying to do it against other Klingons.
Okay, I got you, man. And we got Rafa behind the scenes, the producer, saying there's no Costa Rican lines, so we can't get his Costa Rican Premier Division play of the day because I guess those lines in the soccer aren't out. Rafa, how long do we have on this show? Do we have 30 minutes or do we have an hour? Do you know, Max?
I believe that we have 30 minutes, but I think we can fudge it up to 40 if we're funny and our numbers are good.
Okay, cool. Well, guys, please smash that like button and we can keep going. And we'll break down tonight's games and then look ahead towards the Final Four. He did confirm it's a 30-minute show, and we might be allowed to push it to 40 if everybody in the chat box wants it to be 40. That will have Ricardo Gutierrez smash the like button. Jake Bell, Lippy. He's liking Lippy. Oh yeah, I forgot. We're calling him Lippy. Lipscomb is called Lippy now, Max.
Okay, that works. We can just call them
Yeah,
Lippy.
yeah.
That's easy. Yeah, so Lippy's
Thanks.
gonna freaking go into Madison Square Garden and show the Mecca, hey, we're a decent bunch of Tennesseers, and we don't drink Jack Daniels.
Yeah, okay. They don't drink Jack Daniels, and Lippy is
That's
their
right.
name for sure. Also, the Shockers. Good point here. They got a cool mascot as well. Did you know this is the Shockers, Max?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. I didn't know if they did that in Canada as well, but
Yeah, but they usually are repping some hood on the east side when they do that, but it's all good though.
I just kind of thought it was a funny thing. It didn't need to be like hood or gangster. It's just the Shockers.
Yeah,
There
when
is
you're throwing up signs with your fingers when you're not at a sporting event, it's usually gang signs.
or peace sign maybe. But let's talk about the
I
other
don't know anybody
NIT
that puts
games.
that up.
Yeah. 9:30 Eastern tip here on ESPN. Texas TCU, all Texas battle in New York. 137.5. The total 138 at Pinnacle. -2s across the board now. The bet online is still at 1.5. So you still have some time to get TCU -1.5 if you're liking the Horned Frogs. But Max, I'll let you have at it. How do you like Texas TCU?
Yeah, it's hard not to like TCU in this spot. They are the more dominant team on a neutral court. They do play very good 3-point defense. They hit their free throws. They win on the defensive glass. They force turnovers, but Texas can do the same. Texas is a ball hawk. Texas is veteran. Dylan Ostakowski, Jericho Sims, Kerwin Roach, Matt Coleman. These guys all want to win. I'm sorry. I think that we misjudged this Texas team. I think they're highly motivated, and I think that we can win this. I think that this Texas Longhorn can win this game. I think that Texas can reverse the effects of the first two games that they played. And it's very hard, in my opinion at least, to beat a team 3 times in 1 year, especially when it's an in-state rivalry from a big brother, little brother school. TCU is definitely still the little brother. They may be talented, but I just think that Texas today is going to be the spot for me. I'm going to take them +1.5 or +2. Hopefully that line goes up before game time. I haven't made a bet on it yet, but I did make a bet on the under, and I took one under 138.5. I think that this game is going to be a rock'em sock'em fight, and I think that I don't think that the way that Texas hits free throws is going to benefit them a lot from getting to the line. I think that both these teams are going to miss a lot of jump shots, especially tonight. And I just think that Texas, in the end, is going to be able to win with their defense. They're going to be able to force turnovers. They're going to be able to rely on the 3-point shot and miss a whole bunch of them. And I think that benefits the under. Both these teams shoot over 23-point shot attempts a game and don't hit more than 33%. And I think that's going to show its face, and it's going to benefit the under bettors tonight. So I've already bet the under 138.5, and I'll be looking to get on Texas to reverse the season's record from 2-0 to 2-1.
All right, TCU, the only 1 seed left in the NIT. Alex Robinson as their point guard. Good player, good overall defense, great 3-point defense, which I think correlates from game to game. Texas, I agree with you. I thought you made a great point as far as the motivation. At this point in the NIT, I mean, you're in Madison Square Garden, you're Final Four, you're 2 games away from the championship. I think motivation questions with Texas go out the window. It's a totally different handicap now than the first 2 games. Like you mentioned, they did struggle. And I think motivation could have been an issue then. I don't think it is now. I don't think that's part of the handicap. Roach being back, he's been back all the NIT, but he is a good player, so that factors in. I don't really disagree with anything on your analysis. I kind of like the TCU side. Other than that, though, I think you make some good points for the Texas side. So are you going on official pick as far as the under?
Yeah, the official pick's going to be the under, but you definitely can look out for my Twitter account right after the show. I see that there is a +2 on Bet365, and I'll be jumping on that.
Okay, so like in the Texas side as well. Ricardo Gutierrez saying the shocker is global. So it's not just in the USA, it's in Canada, and it's actually global, according to Ricardo. Larry Savage in the house, Michigan State versus Auburn. J93, so the verdict online, and it's pronounced lip scum. Thank you, J93. Please appreciate that. Lippy also works, and the Bison, but lip scum seems to be the thing here. UGA fan saying the slogan for the Shockers. Absolutely, man. Not sure if I should say it right now, but it is a nice little slogan. They repping Blazers, Max and Drew, so badass. Max needs to get to know. All right. Max, analytic point stand, you will be somewhere high. That's from Sam. How are you feeling right now, Max?
I'm probably somewhere around there. So yeah, it's 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 a bit of a slow day. I looked at these games, I capped these games, I watched a little bit of film on both these teams, and it was like, yeah, done my work, made my bet, gotta wait for lines to move, but that doesn't move at my own pace. So, been having a good time, and I'm gonna plan on having an even better time after I cash some more money tonight, and then I can spend it with the lady of the night.
Nice, man. Gonna go out on the town, look for the lady of the night, aspire to a late. That's Tuate Latte. Max to sleep for the next 5 months. Why don't you do the NBA? I just don't have the time. I couldn't add another league to handicap, and honestly, there's not that many people that I know that beat the NBA. So I think it's a very tough market, very sharp market. Not that many teams. A lot of information known to the bettors. Why don't you do the NBA, Max?
Because I don't like betting on millionaires.
So you don't bet the NFL?
No, I bet the Cleveland Browns sometimes. That's just because I'm a diehard Cleveland Brown fan, and I can find ways to either make money off them and subdue my anger about them losing for the past 17 years. So I don't bet on NBA. I work in a lot of clubs and stuff, so I see NBA players coming in, and I just don't trust the work ethic of them once they get that freaking players check. When they're in college, I'm down for betting on them, but once they become millionaires, no thank you. I don't want that shit. And then as far as baseball, I suck at betting on baseball. So I'm not going to try and tell anybody that. The only sports that I will be able to make money for anybody and myself is college baseball and girls softball.
Okay, that makes sense. Stick to what you know, stick to what you're good at. Apple juice and water, drink of the kings. All right, man, let's keep on moving down here. Did the 2 NIT games. We got Final Four coming up, but it's 1 minute till 4:20. Just so you're out there, if you're out there watching, feel free to enjoy yourself fully. 7 p.m. Eastern tip on CBS Sports Network. We got Hampton versus Marshall. Marshall, the number 1 overall seed in the CIT. They find themselves in the semifinals, 173.5 the total, -6.5 Marshall laying at home. What are you thinking here, Hampton versus Marshall?
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a real interesting game because we've seen this Hampton team be on an absolute tear, and we've seen the same thing with this Marshall team, It's obviously for Marshall comes down to how they're going to play on offense. They can play a fast pace. They can play a slow pace. It's going to really come down to how CJ Brooks and John Elmore score the basketball. If they're scoring the basketball the way that we've seen them and they're staying on the floor, staying out of foul trouble, which is critical to Marshall's success, I think that they have a chance to cover this points. I'm just cautious because we know what Hampton's packing as far as firepower. And when you can throw out Jermaine Morrow and Kalen Fisher at a team, these are guys that can get to the bucket. These are guys that will hit from the perimeter, and they're not lacking in front court. The problem is their depth. How much is the depth going to be tested in this game? Because we know that Marshall can rotate a bunch of different guys in there. in the Presbyterian win, Marshall was not only very dominant from wire to wire, leading by 7 and leading by 10 in both halves. They were able to get some good minutes out of Ronald Watson. Tavion Kinsey was effective in the time that he was on the floor, more from a defensive perspective than anything. And if you got these guys coming off the bench and giving you solid minutes with some good offensive production and even better defense, that's a scary proposition for me to go up against this. Jalen Fisher, Jermaine Moreau, and Kalen Fisher led Hampton team. The fact is, if I'm going to be jumping on this game, I'm going to be jumping on Marshall full game, and I'm going to be looking towards the under. I don't think that it benefits Marshall to play at a really high pace in a high scoring game. It doesn't help them. And with this total being at 173, 174, that's a lot of points that you're relying on and a lot of free throw trips at the end of the game to get that total. Even though Hampton and Marshall are both quite adequate from the line, I just don't think Marshall's going to be susceptible to making those weak fouls that teams like NGIT did. So I'm backing the under in this game, and I'm also taking Marshall full game.
Under and Marshall, I like it. Hampton is 10-2 ATS versus teams with a winning record this year. That is one argument for the Hampton side. But yeah, Marshall's up and down the court. Also, one thing I found interesting with Hampton, all 5 of their starters average double digits, and they're 80% from the free throw line. So in the Big South, they're a team that is pretty good. Top 10 in offensive turnovers as well, their percentage marks. So it's a team that isn't bad, obviously finding themselves in the Final Four of the CIT. Lamont Williams looking for Maxwell Smart's best plays. We'll get to best bets at the end of the show. Jake Bell, 4:20 Eastern. It is 4:20 on the Eastern time zone, a little bit past. So happy 4:20 out there to you. Red Girl in the house. What's up, Red Girl? What's the under or the over today? I know you got some good ones. Jake Bell, lights blunt, good stuff, man. Marshall at home. Marshall from Bull Gogi, liking Marshall. TCU all day from Eric Nisbet. Larry Savage, the Warriors have lost 4 of their last 8 home games, and take Denver Nuggets plus 5.5. Hey, Sam is saying, I want to come to your local strip club with buckets of full chicken strips and honey, my man. Have a good time with you.
Well, you come up to Toronto, and of course, when college basketball season's over, I can be the degenerate that I am, and I always find my way into a local strip club because when there's no college basketball on, what do I want to see most? TNA.
Yeah, don't we all? Paco saying hook 'em. So is liking the under in TCU Texas from Daryl Lyles. Also Jake Bell. Hook 'em horns as well. We got one game left on tonight's slate, CIT semis. The other game, Texas Southern versus Green Bay. This game in Wisconsin. Both CIT semifinals are north of 170, the totals. This one, mid 170s, man. This is high. 176 at Bookmaker and Bet Online. -6 Green Bay here. Texas Southern, Green Bay. What are you thinking, Max?
This is a goddamn dangerous game, but I'm looking towards the under on the total first off. What have we seen from Green Bay over the past 2 games? Them play stifling goddamn defense. Physicality, good rotation, good closeouts, and not allowing second chance opportunities. I can trust this Green Bay team to play good defense, hold a team under 75 points, and that means that I can trust this under to happen. This is a big number, okay? I'm not going to put it past Green Bay's offense to be able to hit that, but that's not when they're playing their best. They don't want to play that kind of game with Texas Southern. Texas Southern's been on a goddamn roll, and if they didn't go to triple overtime versus ULM, that over 171 would not have hit. A lot of people that are going to be wanting to bet this game just because they've been betting March Madness and now they have a couple days off, they're getting on this total. They're betting the over. Well, I'm not. I'm getting on the under in this game, and I'm confident about it. Listen, I don't think that Trayvon Reed's going to be playing anymore. There is an issue with Jalen Patterson. I just think that regardless of what happened in this triple overtime game, I think that Texas Southern has hit enough dog tickets, and it's finally time for them to go up against an opponent in Green Bay that can match them offensively, defensively, in the front court, in the back court, defensively, and at the free throw line. The fact is, Green Bay is going to hit their free throws. They're going to hit over 75%. They're going to hit 40% from the three-point line. They're going to hit 50% from the field. When you play that kind of defense on the other end, that's impressive, and they got their home court. They want this CIT championship. This is a team that's built and made for it. I believe the depth, once again, is what helps them prevail and cover this number.
Nice breakdown, Max. Guys, if you're liking the content, please give us the thumbs up button, and let's head on right on to the Final Four. Max, guys, let us know what you're wanting to bet in the Final Four and why. 803-804, the first game up, 6:09 Eastern time, Auburn versus Virginia on CBS. The 5 seed Auburn Tigers versus the 1 seed Virginia Cavaliers. There's the Cinderella versus the only 1 seed left, Virginia. 130.5 the total at bookmaker. Pretty much 131 now everywhere else. The 130s are getting taken out. Some money towards the over. -5.5 here across the board. That's Virginia laying in this one. Max, have at it. What are you thinking here? What, Wahoos versus the War Eagles?
Listen, on the spread, there's no reason for me to think that Auburn cannot cover this 5.5 points. It would be short-sighted of me to think anything but. The way that this front court stepped up for Chuma Okeke in that Kentucky game had my blood pressure boiling, had my heart beating like a goddamn drum. So impressive. So impressive. It's not even the Bruce Pearl coaching there. This Auburn team belongs in the Final Four. They have every right to be here, and they have every chance to win this game. But I'm sticking by my original prediction, and the Wahoos are going to be the first team to lose to a 16 seed and win the whole goddamn thing the next year, and this is the next test. They've been tested. They've had to find it within themselves, bringing Jack Salt off the bench for that physical, down-low presence that did come up with a couple key baskets. I think that Virginia's winning this game. I don't know if I'm taking Virginia -5.5. I do think that there will be points that get scored in this game. There's just no way that I can take any type of under on a total like this with this Auburn team involved. I'm on the over. I'm looking to get on Auburn. If I see it go down to 5, I will jump on it. That is my threshold. And I think that Virginia's winning it outright, though. Sorry to say.
No offense taken. I mean, they're 5-point favorites, and they're the best team left in the tournament, in my opinion. I think Virginia cuts down the nets in the end as well. Obviously, I'm rooting for Auburn. But I just think it's a fascinating handicap, man. What Auburn's been able to do offensively since this run started, not losing in March, winning the SEC championship, and then finding themselves in the Final Four for the first time in program history, by the way. This is an Auburn program, Max. I don't know if you know this, but since 2003, since last year, they didn't make the tournament for a long, long time. I mean, my whole college career, my whole post-college career until last year, we were never this good. And you could probably count the number of times we were even in the NIT. I'm talking postseason for Auburn, probably on one hand. I don't know that off the top of my head, but there just hasn't been a lot of postseason performances from this Auburn Tiger. We've been like the doormat of the SEC for quite some time. We get the new stadium on campus. It's really cool, man. Good atmosphere there. Bruce Pearl comes in, and then obviously we find ourselves best team we've ever had. And it's really Jared Harper at the point guard position. What he's able to do offensively and dish to Bryce Brown, dish to other guys that can all hit threes. It's fun to watch this team, man. And I think the matchup with Virginia on defense, as far as their pack line defense, not really allowing guys to penetrate the defense and get easy buckets, but nobody's been able to really stop Jared Harper from penetrating all season, or since this run has happened, since they've changed their offensive profile to get the ball into his hands and just have him drive to the bucket, it's really tough to stop. So I think, is Virginia going to be able to stop that? Are they not? Is going to be the key to this game. Do you see any insight there on Virginia having success defensively against Jared Harper driving to the bucket?
Yeah, so going into this point, I've watched Auburn since Bruce Pearl had come to campus. When I saw Bruce Pearl take that job there in the SEC, coming off the firing from Tennessee, I'm like, this is something that he is going to make his job to bring this program back to prominence, out of the slums, and he's done that so far. The way that he has entrusted Jared Harper on this offense has been quite astounding to watch, because in the past 2 years, we've seen the development as a point guard. We've seen him develop as a decision maker. We've seen him develop his way of running the offense and him putting his imprint on it. And it always starts and ends with how he plays in transition. I've said it multiple times. I've watched it. I've seen it work and I've seen it not work. When he's making the right decisions in transition, that is when Auburn's offense is at its best, and he will have to make those decisions, and decision will have to be most often to take it to the bucket. You can get to the bucket versus Virginia team. They are not going to be able to adjust to you for at least the first 20 minutes based on your speed and tenacity to get to the bucket. I think it's their biggest weapon, but I'm also going to keep on harping on this. This front court has stepped up. The way that they are inspired in playing for Chuma Okeke is quite obvious. Bruce Pearl said over and over again, this team is a bad rebounding team. This team cannot rebound. Well, what did we see versus Kentucky? When they needed a rebound, when they need to get that loose ball, they got their hands on it. When they needed a turnover, they forced a turnover. They're going to be able to surprise Virginia with their ball pressure. But in the end, I believe that Virginia is a team that is going to adjust. So,
yeah, you bring up the fact Virginia adjusting, and I was talking to a guy, Mid-Major Matt, who knows this Virginia program really well. He's on ESPN Richmond there, and he says Tony Bennett is one of the best in-game adjustment coaches in the country. So that kind of scares me from the Auburn side. He also came at it with Ty Jerome that they're going to come out and try to just go one-on-one defense against Harper. And I think that's an advantage for Auburn, because it's just the way basketball sets up. When you have a point guard that quick, nobody can really guard him one-on-one. He just goes by you. It's the way the game works. You have to have team defense to stop that. So if Virginia does that, I really like it to be Auburn's advantage early on, and then Tony Bennett change it up, and Virginia to start stopping that and then making their run. I mean, could you see that happening as well, or do you see Virginia doing something totally different on defense?
No, that makes sense, because they know that if he beats the first line of defense, which is Jerome, you know that you have the athleticism and the wingspan blocking ability of Diakate and DeAndre Hunter. So these are very good help defenders. We've seen Diakate do that all tournament long, and I think that's where the thinking behind letting Jerome have it one-on-one, because we know that Jerome has very good footwork and very good foot shuffling rotation. We've seen it happen. We've seen him get to spots and get charges that, frankly, I didn't think he deserved. That's going to be key versus a guy like Jared Harper, because we have seen him be susceptible to early fouls and getting into foul trouble. And if you get him off the court and you have a more reliance on Javon McCormick, well, I think that that's an advantage for Virginia.
Okay. No, good breakdown, Max. It's a fascinating game. It's going to be a fun one. That is the early game. We got the late game coming up as well. Auburn all the way from Sasha. We got Auburn from Larry Savage as well. Jake Bell taking Auburn on the spread to hedge his UVA wins the championship at plus 1,800. That's a nice thing to have in your pocket there, Jake. Good bet there. Yeah, but Kentucky did their part to give it away too. That's from Paco. Nuke Worker, what's up? Welcome in. Might as well wait until Saturday if you're taking the points. You think money coming in on Virginia in that one? Do you see money coming in on Virginia or Auburn here, Max?
I think that money will come in on Auburn, to be frank with you. I think that this number will go down. I'm not sure how much, but I just think that there will be some very sharp money that goes on Auburn. Let's just hope that Mr. Poison doesn't go on it. Listen, I'm leaning towards Auburn with the points, and I just think that Virginia's going to win the game. We've seen Virginia fail to cover. The more interesting spread for me, Virginia-wise, is -2.5 at Pinnacle on the first half at -121. That seems like a little bit of juice to pay, but it's a better price market-wide. And in the end, I think that when you just have that kind of three-point shooting that Auburn has, you're never really out of it until there's no seconds left on the clock.
Well said, Max. So it will be a fun one to watch, this first one. Mikey D saying, is the time changing every day, the broadcast time, or is it just me? Yeah, Mikey D, I mean, the scheduling of the show, it is what it is, man. It was changing all the time. But I'll say this. I really appreciate you guys coming in and watching. We always start off the show with like 10 or 20 people watching, Max, and then it grows to a lot, and it's mainly you entertaining. I appreciate your analysis, dude. It's always fun to work with you, and it's sad that it's coming to an end. But yeah, the time change has always been changing, Mikey D. Sometimes it's in the morning, and sometimes it's in the afternoon. And actually, this is the last show for the afternoon. We'll just be on Saturday and Sunday at 10 a.m. Also, I think Dave Mason from Bet Online will be joining us for one of the shows this weekend, so we'll get a look from him and try to track him down, what he's up in life, because he's a fun guy as well, Max. You would like him, actually, if you ever get to hang out with him. Anyway, we'll move down to the last game of the Final Four, the 3 seed, the 2 seed, Texas Tech versus Michigan State. 8:49 approximate tip-off on the East Coast. 132.5 the total, -2.5. That's Sparty laying in this one. How are you viewing betting Texas Tech versus Michigan State?
Yeah, this is a rock hard game for me to freaking decide, but the way that I'm looking at it is Michigan State. The fact is, what Texas Tech can do up front with Odiasi and Tariq Owens, Michigan State can counter that with Xavier Tillman and Kenny Goins and Nick Ward. When I look at the point guard play, that's where I see the difference. I see Cassius Winston really being able to take advantage of Matt Mooney. Both upperclassmen. It's just Cassius Winston has that element, that teardrop, that pull-up jumper that is just so much more efficient, and you can count on the scoring from him. Where I've just seen Matt Mooney just if sometimes he just has a feel for the ball, sometimes the ball just does not come off his fingers properly, and you can see it plain as day when you're watching him. I watch Matt Mooney a lot when he's not on the ball, when he's defending off the ball, and this is the type of guy, like with Cassius Winston, who thrives off moving without the ball. He loves to move off double screens. He loves that high screen pick and roll where it's a handoff to him. I just think that there's so many ways that Cassius Winston can exploit Matt Mooney on defense, and where he can take advantage of him defensively, that this Michigan State team is destined to play Virginia in the national championship. I think that Texas Tech has had a great run. I think Chris Beard has coached this team unbelievably with the amount of players that they lost and the pieces that they put together on the fly. I just think that Michigan State defensively can match up with Texas Tech. 3-point defense, field goal defense, forcing turnovers, ball hawking. It's going to really come down to, can Jared Culver have an efficient shooting game? And against the combined defense of Michigan State, whether it be Matt McQuaid or Henry or Gabe Brown, the freshman, I just think that this Michigan State team is fundamentally too strong. I think that Texas Tech is going to meet its match, and it's all about Sparta.
Sparta, with Cassius Winston, the most underrated point guard in the country, in my opinion. Melvin Betances in the house saying a comment here, which I agree with. Cassius Winston plays old man basketball, old school fundamentals, like when you play a pickup game and there is an older dude who just schools everyone. You like that, Max?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that there. It's a very fair statement.
Yeah, no, I just think he's really smart, really cerebral player, well coached, and I think he's the difference. I think Michigan State's the side. Don't have a strong opinion on it. And I think the total, I always go through and make the numbers before I look at the odds, and I made it right at 132. So 132 and a half, I think the total's right on. I kind of lean Michigan State just because of the point guard play, but overall, I think this is going to be a rock fight, man. I think this is a flip the coin type of battle. I lean Michigan State, but then you got to lay a little bit of points. I think the number's right on in this game. It's going to be a fun one to watch. Nice nightcap. Two great games, man. Any closing thoughts before we get to best bets?
Yeah, no, I'm just going to say that, listen, Michigan State has been preparing for this all year. They are finally in the position to do what they're meant to do. I think that they went through the toughest conference. I think that they've had a tougher road to get in here, in my opinion. Even as a 2 seed, people will say that I'm crazy for saying that, but I just think that there's been so much stacked up against this team. They do have an early exit. They do have multiple early exits from this tournament. The fact that they've gone to the Final Four really shows the maturity and perseverance of this team. And I think that they've battled so many outside basketball issues, so many basketball roster issues this season. I think that they are just driven to an extent in a level that Texas Tech just can't match. And I understand Teddy B and his perspective on Matt Mooney. Obviously, if you know a person, then you know his mentality a lot better than anybody capping or watching his games. I just don't see him being able to match up skillfully versus Cassius Winston. I just see him being an exploitable factor. And I think that we're going to see it on Saturday. Obviously, the players have to do it on the court, but it's going to be a great game, and two teams that are both very deserving of being here. Great coaches, great recruiters, great developers. So we're in for a treat regardless of who wins and who cashes.
All right, it's going to be a treat both games, man, and it's going to be a fun Saturday night. Hopefully, everybody out there enjoys. We will be back Saturday morning, 10 a.m. SBR Madness, Maxwell Smart 420 on Twitter, and myself will be breaking it down. Just kind of last thoughts on the game, hitting the chat box hard. Any bets, prop bets as well. Those will be out in full force. We're going to try to have Dave Mason on Saturday. He's either going to join us Saturday or Sunday. So we'll be talking prop bets as well. A lot going on the Saturday show, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Max, best bet time. We've been good of late, man. So let's keep this run going and end the SBR Madness best bet on a run. What do you got for best bets on tonight?
Yeah, this was a tough one. I'm definitely leaning towards totals once again for my best bet. And I'm going to take the under 150.5 in this Lipscomb Wichita State game at Pinnacle. I just think that Wichita State and Lipscomb are both able to play good defense, but I think that the more efficient scoring and shooting team and more efficient road team is going to be able to prevail in the end. And I think that Lipscomb's going to be able to hit enough free throws in the end to win this game and keep this game under. 150.5 is a very generous number for me, and I feel comfortable giving that out as the best bet for me of the day. So let's go Wichita State Lipscomb under 150.5. Drew, to you.
I'm going to the same game, Lipscomb Wichita State. Thanks for the introduction, Max. And I'm going Lipscomb Pick'em at Bovada right now. -1 at a lot of places, but there is a Pick'em out there, and I'm taking it. I think Lipscomb, Lippy, the Bison, they win the game, and they win the game by more than a couple points. But either way, I'm taking the Pick'em at Bovada on Lippy. Lipscomb over Wichita State. So Maxwell Smart. All right, man. We got Saturday, 10 a.m. You going to be good until then? Stay out of jail and everything?
I hope so, but if I do, don't worry. I got bail money to get myself out.
All right, we'll get you out by 10 a.m. on Saturday if you get after it tonight or any other night this week, man. It's been fun, and see you Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Join us, guys. Best of luck with your bets tonight, and we're on the under Wichita State Lipscomb game, also on Lipscomb Pick'em if you can find it. So for Maxwell Smart, I'm Drew Martin. See you Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Best of luck with your bets tonight.